We made it! And I was wrong about everything, and I'm so mad. First things first, hi, hello, welcome to hell. For the past 7 weeks, we have been going through Euphoria Season 3 together, and now that it's over, it feels bittersweet. Sweet because it's finally over, we're free, but more importantly, Zendaya is free. We can stop. And bitter because it sucked. It sucked ass. Unwashed heterosexual booty hole. The season was bad, but this finale really puts the bottom in lobotomy. And there was speculation as to whether or not this would be the last season, and fortunately for us, it is. It's over. The end. Finito. The show's creator, Sam Levinson, even said, "In the terms of the story we set out to tell, which is a story about addiction and its consequences, this feels like the end to me." Further confirming he's a moron. To think we've been following these teenagers since 2019 and now the story is gonna end with a gun showdown at a strip club that doubles as a sex trafficking front? Okay. I'm not gonna lie, they did get me at one point. I did at one point say, okay, this has potential. And that lasted very little time because sure enough, car crash. Not even a car crash per se, it's just that the ending we got belongs to a different story. Or same story, different time. Because if we had gotten this ending at the end of season 2, I'd have been on board with it. I'd have been like, you know what? That makes sense. I like that. I accept and I celebrate it even. But to go through season 3 only to reach the exact same conclusion, don't piss me off. Não me fodam. Não me fodam. Não vamos passar outra temporada a desenvolver esta personagem só para lhe dar o mesmo fim que queríamos dar há 4 anos atrás, quando ela ainda afundava a boca em drogas a toda a hora. Tráfico humano, mula de droga e ainda tinha que morrer no fim. Vai te foder. And we get specific moments through the episode that feel like Sam Levinson molesting the characters. Because as is famously known, writers must express their most deep inner thoughts through characters in season finales to justify the ludicrous series of events that got us here. And when I say ludicrous, I could not believe it. But in a weird way, this season was kind of like the reckoning of Sam, because Euphoria has been lauded as his creation, his big stroke of genius. And up until season 2, there were still a lot of critics that would go to battle for him, despite the many red flags that people kept pointing out. So for him to wait 4 years of people arguing whether or not he is good at what he does, only for him to put out this... Maybe God really works in mysterious ways. I'll still praise the cinematography and the technical aspects of the show. Sam knows how to shoot a scene, he knows how to frame a sequence, he knows how to make it look great. Just let someone else do the writing. You know, the thinking. Leave that for someone else. It's fine. And with all that out of the way, one last time for the series finale. Grab a snack, a drink, sit back, relax right the fuck now. It's still a threat. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button down below because you will feel and look so much better after. So good, Alamo's gonna wanna employ you. Okay, I'm sorry. That was too far. This episode of American television is brought to you by Coca-Cola and the Bible. Amen. Picking up right where we left off, Faye's scream wakes Wayne up. He reaches for the gun, but Rue is faster, and she grabs a tool, a wrench, and smashes it on his leg. Punches Faye in the face, grabs the goods, and runs. Wayne chases after her, shooting at her, missing every single time. And when Rue is stuck trying to escape out the barn's door, he actually slows down and approaches tentatively, effectively giving her time to escape. You know what? I don't think white supremacists are the smartest of peoples. It makes no sense, but Rue escapes, and she is ruing through that field. Ruing is when Rue escapes from trouble, as she normally does. But the other Nazi is chasing her on a horse, and he's got a rope, and he's doing that thing that, you know, the lasso thingy. I do not possess the vernacular to explain what's happening, but he lassos her feet and starts dragging her through the floor back to the house. Y'all, Rue cannot win. But wait, because Alamo's partner, I think his name is G, shoots the Nazi with his sniper. Nazi down, Rue escapes, title card. That was the intro, and Rue wasn't narrating. Cut to Cassie and Maddie at a diner following the unearthing of the swollen professional cucked loser Nate Jacobs, and they only have one line each. Maddie says, "What do I do?" And Cassie sits next to her to comfort her and says, "We will figure it out together." Aww. And they look like hell on earth. Like they just had to run a marathon through a really long and very busy whorehouse. And here's a fun fact you won't hear anywhere else, because it's not true. They were not in character. This was actually their lunch break after getting told that HBO greenlit a new spin-off called American Women. I'd call it Americana, but that's already an awful movie. And this was Alexa deciding whether or not she should continue acting. Cut to Rue, who has just returned to Alamo's, and he seems super chill. Quick reminder that last episode, Rue told Lexi Lexi about working with the DEA, and then Lexi vented to Maddie about Rue working with the DEA, and then Maddie let it slip to Alamo that Rue had mentioned DEA. Okay, good. He's being very mysterious and very ominous, like, you were right, Rue, we were meant to be. He then pours 2 Coca-Colas because there's nothing more American than a full-fat Coca-Cola. Sugar. He then places 2 Percocet pills on the table. Non-Americans watching this, Percocets are very strong and highly addictive opioid painkillers. The kind of stuff that Rue got addicted to back when her father was dying. He takes one, says it's for his back pain, and gives her another, which is understandable. She was, after all, just dragged through the floor by a horse-riding Nazi, which is just crazy considering she is in California. Say that shit 3 times. She looks at the pill, says that she used to love these, and then takes it. And when she takes it, there's a look in her eye that you can tell she's taking it because she's genuinely in pain, not because she is relapsing. And that's very important. It's part of her redemption. Any Drag Race fans out there, don't. I hate myself already. Alamo then calls her his employee of the year, gives her a week off and a big fat envelope full of cash. A little token of his appreciation. He even tells her to go to the hospital to get stitched up and send him the bill. And I just gotta say, when they offer to cover your health care, something's not right. Smells like a stunt. Can you guys see my babies? They are so adorable. Hello. Rue then goes to the hospital and gets her hand stitched up, and she smiles. The smile of someone who's about to start their second chance at life. Someone who's finally seeing a light at the end of the tunnel out of all of this stress and misery that she's been carrying for years and years. She then goes to Ali's place, and he of course tells her to stay however long she needs to. And she has a moment with a bottle of Percocets where she's staring at them, and it leaves the viewer wondering whether or not she's gonna relapse again. Is Rue gonna relapse, or is she gonna resist and finally stop up her life now that it has unfucked itself? More on that later, because down in Mexicali, everything's going according to normal. They load up the drugs underneath the floorboards of the back of the van, and they pick up the girls who had procedures done. And we see Bishop lurking around. Alamo's crew is up to something, especially because when the Nazi comes back from picking up the girls, he notices his Coca-Cola is missing. But he doesn't think much of it, because thinking is not necessarily the strong suit of white supremacists. Get what I'm saying? I'm saying white supremacists are dumb. Like stupid. Nothing going on up here. They're crossing the border, and when the border agents check everyone that's in the van, I started laughing so loud, because So Katie got her butt done, a BBL, I think, and this other nameless girl got her breasts done and her face done, and she's got her drains hanging off the side of her head like floppy ears. Okay. What could they have possibly done to this young woman's face? Come on, guys. Come on. Why are we getting facelifts at 30? No. And despite the tension, they get through no problem. They're in a crisis. I'm on my way. Back at Lori's, and while they argue over who let Rue out of her bedroom that morning, Wayne gets diarrhea. Wayne gets diarrhea because the DEA swapped all those pills, remember? And Faye had told him a couple episodes ago that all the pills that she had been ingesting were doing nothing but giving her the shits. No one gave a fuck. When it was the woman shitting herself all day, every day, no one cares. Somehow, the Nazi having the shits saves his life. Because Faye then says, see, if those were drugs, you'd feel constipated, not have runny poos, making him realize it's a setup. And it is, because far away in the horizon, a fucking army shows up. I don't know who needs to hear this, but Americans need to spend a little bit less on like weapons. Just in general, right? Like, see all that money that you spend making weapons? Medicine, food, shelter, affordable living. Ooh, okay, now that was too far. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That was terrible. Soon enough, the police have the entire place completely surrounded, and Lori's like, I can't go to prison. So she goes up to the roof, ties a noose around her neck. I'm laughing. This is not funny. She ties a noose. She ties a noose around her neck and then jumps off. She jumps off, but the detectives are down there like, what is she doing? I don't know. I wonder what she's doing with a rope around her neck about to jump off. So before they even have a chance to arrest anyone, Lori takes herself out. Great. Wayne and Faye escape undetected through the back of the house, and I interrupt this broadcast to show you this dog. Guys, It's a tripod. He has 3 legs. And I famously have a dog with just 3 legs. Look at him, he's so cute. Okay, back to the story. The other 2 Nazis try and act tough, but they surrender immediately. And then the DEA lifts the floorboards in the back of the van only to find nothing but a dead rat, foreshadowing what's to come. Guys, I'm not well. Gist of the matter is they swapped vans and now Bishop is driving the actual drugs back to Alamo, begging the question, how was he able to go through border control without getting checked, searched, completely found out? I thought the medical passes worked if you had patients in the back. Did they really see Bishop dressed like this, driving an ambulance from Mexico to the United States, and they just let him through with no problems? Right, okay, right. The detectives really shot the bed because they got nothing, so they look at the guy and say, tell Alamo that I'll look forward to meeting him in a few days. And he's like, tell him yourself, I quit. So this guy got out safe and sound. Good for him. And early in the morning, Faye is seen hitchhiking and catching a ride with a couple that has literal young children in the back. And then Wayne, the Nazi, emerging from the bushes and making sure that he's got bullets in his gun before heading to the car too. Right. So the Nazi and his freshly converted Nazi girlfriend also escaped safe and sound, right? Well, it's morning time. Allie wakes up and finds Rue having breakfast. The bottle of Percocets on the table, full as it was last night. She did not have a relapse. And then the news on the TV report that Fez has escaped prison using parkour. Rue is elated, but also determined to keep her promise. She told Fez if he ever got out or if he ever escaped, she would pick him up. So that's what she does. And Allie tries dissuading her from going, but she sets out on a mission. And on the way, we start seeing footage from earlier seasons, like when she saw Jules for the first time riding the bike. Jules, remember her? Yeah. She drives to where Fez used to work, and then we see unaired footage of Zendaya and Angus, rest in peace. Footage that indicates but one thing. She is walking to the light. After that, she drives home, but she finds her street blocked, and she dodges the cops and rues her way home. Again, running away from trouble. She climbs up the roof and she gets into her house, no problem. She then finds her mom in the living room reading the Bible, and she reaches out to her. And that's when they reveal that Rue is actually on the sofa still. And she's struggling to breathe and she's hallucinating everything, almost like she's dying. And the music playing is some bullshit because it sounds exactly like the same music that plays when Mr. Incredible is on that island and he sees the screen of all the heroes that have died before him. Remember that? Then it takes a turn and church vocals start coming in. Oh my God, what the? Where am I? And in her last moments, Rue smiles. In her dreams, she first embraces her mother, the reconciliation that never came, and then she embraces her father, whose death was the catalyst for everything. Morning comes and Allie wakes up again, except this time he finds Rue still asleep. A sleep she will never see the end of. And the bottle of Percocets on the table still full. So she didn't overdose necessarily in the traditional sense. She didn't just down the whole bottle and then died on the sofa. Allie tests a pill for fentanyl and is absolutely crushed when it turns out positive. So Alamo poisoned her. After getting everything he wanted out of her, he killed her, like he probably did so many others. What the fuck? She finally got out of the biggest mistake of her life, was ready to start fresh, had the pills and chose not to take them. And yet the first time that she takes a pill for actual pain, and she dies? That she dies isn't surprising. I think we were all expecting the show to end with her death at some point or another. But like this? What? Because like I said earlier, this would have been a fitting finale for season 2 when she was going through all of the emotional turmoils of having a relapse after staying clean for a short amount of time. That would have been a fitting ending, after all of that, and she finally just, takes one too many and that's it. But to have her be haunted for years by this mistake, be forced to be a drug mule. Did you guys see what she had to do? The bags that she had to swallow? So then get caught up with Alamo and then start working with the DEA and somehow always make it out alive of the situations, and she dies because of a sneaky pill that coward don't piss me off! You guys don't understand, okay? I hate it when someone makes something bad even worse for no reason, okay? There's no reason. There's no reason. There's no moral lesson here other than, shit happens. Deal with it. If I wanted that, I wouldn't be watching TV series at all. What? But Eric, it's what happens in real life. He's going for realistic. Was he going for realistic when Cassie turned into a giant woman and stomped around the city? Right. Fun fact, we're only 35 minutes into the episode. Yeah, she dies in the first third. And like, what a fucking moron I was thinking that Ali was gonna sacrifice himself and, metaphorically transfer his life onto hers, and she was gonna carry on his legacy of helping others and writing their names in the death book and just trying her best, her mission in life to become helping others as Ali helped me. God, I'm so stupid. Like, clip it. I'm a dumbass. I may also be slightly annoyed because I think the music completely ruined her last moments in the show. Like what felt like the tribute to the character Rue, her send-off, was absolutely destroyed by the fuck-ass music. Hans Zimmer. I'm so sorry you're having to deal with this. Just go back to doing other stuff. Stay away from Sam. A couple months later, Ali attends his last NA meeting. And this is one of those moments where we feel like Sam is molesting the character with his own deep thoughts, but Ali says that he used to think empathy was the key, but then he realized that if you can empathize with the addict, you can also empathize with the dealer. So maybe empathy is not that helpful after all. And maybe the real disease isn't addiction, but the fact that people don't know anymore the difference between right and wrong. Ali relapsed following Rue's death. He just could not deal with the pain anymore, and he has now decided this is his last NA meeting. After this, he's gonna find a better way of being of better service. And he then saws off the barrel of a shotgun, and I just felt so European watching this. Like, what is he doing? No, like, seriously, what does that do? Does that like make the shot more powerful, or is it just to be able to conceal it better? It's been a couple months since Rue's death, and we see how Jules is coping with it. Jules, the character, I don't even know what to even say anymore, because she was such a groundbreaking character at the time, giving representation, but also exploring other stories that weren't the ones that we're used to seeing on screen. Despite how exploitative some of them may have felt, it was still different, and it was still pioneering, sort of groundbreaking in its own way. So for the character to just be completely abandoned this season, given a lobotomy and just made to be an accessory to everybody else's story, an accessory to her own story, an object, really. Wow. What a fucking shame. All we see of Jules is her painting, supposedly in honor of Rue, and she's holding back the tears. She's still with her plastic surgeon / chaser boyfriend, and we get the emotional moment interrupted by said chaser giving her a kiss on her head. Sure, didn't need that, but okay. And then the end result of the painting is either Rue in hell, or Rue finally free of hell. But no matter how you interpret it, if you zoom in very closely, you will see that the painting is actually made of a lot of dicks. And that's it for Jules. That's the end of Jules. Yeah. She had no lines in the episode. And again, her emotional scene was interrupted by that pig. So Jules being reduced to just an accessory of the show feels fitting with how society is currently treating trans people. It's almost like Sam just hung up the hat like, okay, I don't care to do this anymore. At least everyone who said the show was bad should feel vindicated. Cassie and Maddie, on the other hand, had to be very entrepreneurial, and they have since turned Cassie and Nate's house, mansion, into an OnlyFans mansion. To a whorehouse. Maddie is Hugh Hefner, and so is Cassie in a way. Cassie's like the mini Hugh Hefner. They concept everything for the girls: photo shoots, videos, hair, makeup, and in exchange they charge them room and board and take a cut of everything that they make. And then Alamo also takes a cut of that. And presumably Alamo is forcing Maddie to sleep with him because Cassie tells Maddie, if you pretend to like him, it might be easier. So like, only Lexi hasn't gone through the tribulations of being turned into a sex worker against her will. Cassie asks Lexi to work with them because they now just need a storyteller. OnlyFans mansion run by Maddie and Cassie, and Lexi helping them script storylines between the girls that live there. If that doesn't sound like the setup of a new spin-off, then I don't know what does. Don't worry, Lexi says no. Lexi and Cassie then have a conversation, and this is another moment where I can feel Sam Levinson molesting the character, because Lexi has been reading the Bible and has concluded that at the heart of it, the point of it all is to just keep going. Bad things are gonna happen, so why have anxiety over it? You just have to keep going. In the end, Euphoria is the friends we've made along the way. Get it? Like, the episode is gonna be bad. You just gotta keep going. I hope Sam keeps going, keeps walking. and then stays wherever he ends up. And I couldn't stop laughing because they're talking about Rue being gone, and Cassie says, she had a really nice smile. I think a smile says a lot about a person. When you smile, other people smile. It's contagious. And she's saying all this as she's cleaning a dildo. I could not believe it. I can't take this seriously. Like, come on. Also, the official story she's going with Nate is that he is just missing and she misses him and hopes he comes back. So like, they don't know that he's dead. And they won't know that he's dead. Okay. Once you accept that logic plays no role in the writing of these scripts, suddenly they're so much cooler. And when Lexi leaves, Cassie cries because beneath the surface, she is emotionally destroyed. And that's it for Cassie and Lexi, believe it or not. Yeah. Maddie is driven by Bishop, and along the way, for the first time, Bishop smiles at something she says. He then says he likes to be surprising, and Maddie says, you know what I would find surprising? Some grace. And they get to the club, and Alamo takes Maddie to a private room in the back. And he is so sleazy, he changes from his jacket to a silk blazer because he's going to the boudoir. And he tells Maddie he had an epiphany while he was watching women strip at a strip club. He's realized that he wants the American dream. He tells her that she is a miracle and that he wants to have her babies. Okay, because wanting to actually enslave a woman for the rest of her life just so she can give you babies in the big year of 2024. Not all men, but always a man. Allie walks into the Silver Slipper, and he's wearing a uniform, a military uniform. Did he serve? I don't know. But he looks determined to fuck shit up. And what do we have time for in this finale? A 14-second uninterrupted shot of Kitty's new butt as she walks around the club. And I'm pretty sure there were prosthetics, begging the question, why even show this uninterrupted clip? Like, what was the point? Was this really to highlight the talent of whoever made the prosthetics? Because I'm impressed, but also very unnecessary. Like, why? Why? Allie asks to speak to the manager. Kitty goes and gets G. G goes to the table. Allie points a shotgun at him. Is this where Alamo Brown works? I want to speak to him. And G tries playing tough guy, but Allie's like, if you lie to me, I'll shoot you in the dick. And he lies to him. And he shoots him in the dick. Ugh. Justice! Shoot 'em all in the dick! Another guy comes, he shoots him too, and then calls Alamo out, real loud. Cause he means business, man. Shoot 'em all in the dick! Wow! Allie breaks the window and uses Maddie as a human shield, so he must have gotten his training in Israel. And then throws Maddie at him and hides, like a coward, so he must have trained with the IOF. And through a bit of dialogue, they reach an understanding, an agreement. An old-fashioned Western shootout. I don't know how you call it. You know when they're like, they got their guns holstered and then they have to like draw them and pew, pew, pew. Right. So yeah. And they're gonna do it honorably because word is bond. Word is bond. And they say it a couple times, so you know it's important. Kitty is to roll a bottle of champagne on the counter, and only when the bottle breaks on the floor do they draw their guns out. Allie agrees, and Alamo reiterates the rules. Nobody draws their guns until the bottle breaks on the floor, just to make sure. Bishop hands Alamo his trusted gun, and they face each other. And Allie says that he is there because of Rue. Maddie's in a corner, and she realizes Alamo had something to do with Rue's death. Alamo says, oh, you've got a score to settle. And then Kitty rolls the bottle. The bottle rolls. Tensions are high. Allie looks. Alamo also looks. Maddie's on the floor, also looks. And I could not believe that Euphoria is ending on a gun showdown. The high school show about kids doing drugs and having sex and just, yeah. What are we even doing at this point, you know? It doth beg the question, what exactly are we doing? You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, in another magnificent display of cowardice, Alamo draws his gun before the bottle rolls off the counter. Allie is surprised. Alamo pulls the trigger. Nothing happens. He pulls it again and again, and nothing happens again and again. Bottle rolls off the counter, crashes on the floor. Alamo looks at Bishop, who gave him an empty gun. I'll see you in hell, motherfucker. And Allie shoots him, then shoots him again. And then, just to make sure, finishes him off with a third shot. And justice has been served! Bishop offers Maddie a ride home, who no longer has a debt to pay back to Alamo, which means she and Cassie are pretty much gonna be millionaires very soon. Okay, so they got their happy ending too. Not before Maddie had to do unspeakable things with Alamo, but At least they got out now, and they are safe. Good. And although Bishop wasn't an undercover cop, at least he was not as shitty as everyone else around him. And the snake story, shocking, is exactly what happened to his character. He sized Alamo up all season, and instead of attacking, he waited for the very perfect opportunity to strike. And he didn't even have to get his hands dirty. That's what happens when you're blessed with a touch of the tism. And then Allie drives down to Texas to the homestead that Rue hoped to go back to at some point, and he tells them that his daughter Rue spoke to him about this homestead, and she is now in a better place. A little girl then tells him that this cow just gave birth 3 months ago, and it's a miracle. So like Rue reincarnated as a cow. You know what? Hopefully she did. Euphoria coming soon. Ali is then invited to eat with them, and he says grace. And he finishes his prayer with, "Thank you, Rue. May her memory be a blessing." And across from him on the empty chair sits Rue. She smiles, and the series then ends on a shot of this homestead with the American flag right next to it, so we never forget what country put this shit out. And Rue signing off with, "May God bless us all." What? And that's it. That's the end. For real. For good. No mas. Now that we're on the other side, I want to ask you, viewer, to think back to what the creator of the series said. In terms of the story we set out to tell, which is about addiction and its consequences, this feels like the end to me. Eat shit. Come merda. Vai levar no cu. É que vai levar no cu. Vai levar no pandeiro. Not a single ending he didn't botch. You know, even Maddie's ending, she had to be trafficked first. Lexi is still boring as f. Nate was a punching bag the entire season. Cassie's even more miserable than before. And it's not just about whether or not the endings of each character felt satisfying. It's like how we got there that matters, right? In the end, Euphoria is the friends that we made along the way. And he can't even claim that he didn't have time to think this through or that he was rushed, because he had like 4 years, and this is still what he came up with. 4 years for him to just go to his man cave and decide to choose violence and come out with violent storytelling. Yeesh. Rest in peace, Euphoria. Zendaya, that Emmy is yours. Sydney Sweeney might also get nominated or even the win. Mark my words. If it happens, you heard it here first. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to leave it a like down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You're gonna feel better. And let me know in the comments down below what you thought of Euphoria. We made it to the end. Somehow. Unscathed, question mark? And thank you for coming along on this ride, and I hope to see you on many other rides. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. Also, happy Pride Month. Hello. Not everything's going to be gay, but there is going to be some LGBTQIA plus thrown your way, so get ready for that. And next video is going to be Half Man Part 2, episodes 4, 5, and 6. Oh my God, is all I got to say for now. So be ready for when that comes. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay stupid, stay stuttering. Bye, guys. O meu nome é saudade, porque vou sem saber quando vou voltar. Sou tão só e ninguém me sabe acalmar.